Oh, hey there. How are you today? Great. So you're here for a virtual presentation. Awesome. So my name is Amber Averly. I'm from Valley City State University, and I'm here to talk to you about the digital trends in education. So where do we even begin, right? A year ago, education in general had this huge swift and change. And it kind of thrusted some of us into this online learning and really kind of using technology in ways that we've never seen possible before. Well, some of us. So it kind of got me thinking, is there a top 10, 20, 100? How many things are out there for teachers right now? Well, I can honestly tell you there's a lot. So today I did kind of come up with my top 10 to introduce to you, or maybe reintroduce to you, remind you, or you know what, there's some things that have just changed. So a little bit about my background. I teach at Valley City State University with the graduate program, in which I do a course just on digital trends in education. And I have people kind of come up with their top 21 throughout the course. Of course, everybody has a different variety. So out of the top 10 that I bring up today, if you can even just take 1, 2 of these and really implement it into your classroom, that would be great. If not, if I just kind of reminded you of some things you can do, that's great too. So I attended a conference back in December. It's the ISTE conference. It's a national-wide conference. Of course, it was virtual, so I didn't get to go to California, but I learned a lot. And a lot of what trends were happening, the shift, and a little bit about how people are really utilizing some of the technologies. So today, not only am I going to give you the top 10, I'm also going to give you some professional development opportunities that I feel are worthy enough of for all of you, actually. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen so that I can really showcase what these top 10 items are. So if you just give me a second here. All right, so little bit about our top 10. We're going to start with Pear Deck. So what is Pear Deck? Pear Deck really is taking your presentation and making it extremely engaging. And so what I like to tell people with Pear Deck is that for some cases, a lot of us might be teaching completely virtual, maybe half and half, or maybe completely in class. So what the nice thing about Pear Deck is it's going to work in any one of those platforms. So what you do is you create a presentation, or you can actually export a presentation into Pear Deck, and you can add different things along your presentation that really engages the users. Maybe you want to ask a multiple choice question. Maybe you want to ask an open-ended question. Maybe you want to show a video and see what people's feelings are afterwards. You can definitely do this with Pear Deck. Now, with a lot of these things that I'm going to be bringing up today, there's, of course, the free version, and then there's some paid versions. I'm the type of educator that I already give up a lot of my money for stuff, so I try to find ways to utilize just the free versions of things. One thing about Pear Deck is that once you have completed your presentation, you can save it into a PDF format to share at another time. Now, that doesn't mean that people can engage with it, but at least you have that information. The nice thing about Pear Deck is that there are a bunch of teaching resources for you to kind of jump in, get started, some how-to stuff that I really feel are vital for some of the teachers that are using to really dive into Pear Deck. A lot of times I have seen people kind of bring in a couple things, maybe do 1 or 2 engaging activities with it, and then they really don't get into the nuts and bolts. And that's okay too. But I just want to make sure that people realize there are these teaching resources. So it's pretty easy for your students to join Pear Deck. Once you've created your presentation, you actually give them a code, and you can kind of see that right here. There's usually a pretty quick code. They come to this website, join a session, type in their code, and they're right there with you. This is perfect for multiple devices. So I know that some schools struggle with only having Chromebooks or only having iPads, or some students are just have a phone to engage with in your classroom. Let's say that you're not in a computer lab. All of this will work. That's the beauty of Pear Deck. So really, Pear Deck in a nutshell is just taking your presentation and really making it interactive. So like I said, I'm only going to give you a brief on some of these so I can get through some of my time here. The next one that I want to bring up is EdPuzzle. So EdPuzzle has seen a lot of shift and changes. So if you were in EdPuzzle like 2, 3, 4 years ago, it has completely changed. I would say the interface is a lot easier for teachers. So what is EdPuzzle? EdPuzzle definitely is one of those things where it engages our students with either a video that you've made, a YouTube video, maybe you captured a video off of Khan Academy, or there are some open classes on here where you can snag some other people's videos. So like it says, it saves you time because you can use videos that have already been created and really start engaging your students into that content. Or you can use your own. It is used by multiple schools. And of course, right now it's free for teachers and students. That might change. But for now, the free version really is the nuts and bolts. I want you to see here that it is a learn anywhere, anytime, as long as you have a browser, or if you have a device, you can get it off of Google Play or the App Store. Very easy for students to use. So I'm going to kind of jump into the interface of EdPuzzle. Okay, so as you can see, I have a couple EdPuzzles. I've used them with some of my virtual only workshops that I do with teachers across the state. And so what I really like about this is that I can go through these popular channels, find something that I want to use, and make sure that my students actually watch the videos. I don't know about you, but I post a lot of videos, especially in my online courses, and I like to track and make sure that my students are not only watching the video, watching the whole video, but also engaging with the content. So what I like about this is I can pick something. So let's say I want to go to YouTube. Let's see, something that I want to pick up here. I can just pick something that's from here. Or I can search a particular content. If you have a YouTube video that you already know that you would not want to use, you can actually just copy and paste that YouTube video link right here and hit search, and it should pop up. I've only had it one time not pop up for me, and I just picked a different video. Let's be honest, I didn't have the time. So let's say I want this video. So I'm going to select this video, and I'm like, wow, this is a really good video. I watched it from start to finish, and I can see that other people have used different versions of the video. I can go to these, see if I like it, and actually assign it as part of my class, or I can edit myself. So I'm going to actually edit, and it brings me into this editor view. So there's a couple things that I can do with this video. I can cut the video, so maybe there's only some little small portion that I want. So I did this this last week for my InDesign class. My students are really having a hard time taking the background out of images and logos when they were bringing them into their workspace. And so I found this really awesome video. It was like 14 minutes long. I know my college students are not going to watch this 14-minute long video when they only need about 40 seconds. So I could actually hit this cut button and cut it down to what I actually want my students to engage with. The other thing I can do is I can add my own voiceover. This is pretty awesome. So maybe the video didn't quite explain something, or I want to add my own aspect to the video. I can do that. I can just click voiceover, add it in. But the best part about EdPuzzle is that I can ask questions. Okay, so I'm going to hit the questions part just so you can kind of see this. I can ask a multiple choice question, an open-ended question, or I can just make a note of something. So maybe I want the student to remember this for later, or maybe I know it's on the test if I'm giving an exam, or maybe I know that they're going to need it for their project. I can just add a note. So what you're going to want to do is you're not going to want to ask all the questions at the beginning or the end of the video, right? So here's the beginning, here's the end. Don't want to do that. I can actually get to the point where I want to on this video. So I'm actually going to fast forward it. Okay, so let's say I want to stop right here and I want to ask a multiple choice question. Pretty quick, type in the question. Here's some choices. I can add up to 5 or 6 choices depending on what I want to do. Hit the little save button. So we'll just say try. We'll just put some letters here just so you can kind of see how it works. And let's see, I have to have the right answer. So let's say A is my right answer. Hit save. So now if you notice, when the students were to play the video themselves, you can see that at 1 minute and 15 seconds, I have this question. Now I can go to another point of the video. Let's say I want to go right here. And I'm going to hit pause. And I want to ask an open-ended question. Okay, so, whoops. So I'll give an open-ended question. And granted, I just typed in answer just so that there's something there. Hit save. And now it's there for me. I know, I'm sorry, that's a little annoying when the video plays over and over and over. So let's say I'm done. Hit finish. And now I have my video edits. You can see where my questions are. And then I can assign it. Okay, you can also look at a shared preview if you want to see how things work out, make sure things are placed where you'd like to place them. Here's the kicker is a lot of times it's going to default as public so other people can use the video. If you don't want it public, you can hit private here. But if you hit private, it is only going to be assigned to classes that you have set up or to the code. So if I'm going to hit assign here, let's say I'm going to start it today. They have until the 17th, can pick the hour and the minutes, hit save. I can prevent skipping from the video. I can honestly tell you, I know some of my students get very irritated with this, but at least I know that they're watching the video. And then I can turn on the closed captions. In higher education, this is definitely something that's a must, so we need to make sure that we're doing this. As far as K-12 system goes, that's kind of up to the district where you're at on providing closed captions. So I have my class here, clinical practice. I can hit assign. I'm going to assign it to all the students. Hit assign. And we are good to go. Okay. So that's just a little quick update about EdPuzzle and a little bit of how it works. So let's move on to the next one, which is Flipgrid. Flipgrid is definitely one of those engagement type tools that you could either have students do as homework. If you're in the virtual aspect or a hybrid, this is something they can do outside of class. And what it is for me at least, is a way for students to record themselves, either doing a presentation, maybe they are answering a discussion, and then if I do it as a discussion, then they can go in, I can set it so that they go in and answer and talk to other people in the classroom by leaving them a video response, okay? So I'm gonna just see if I can quick log in here. I don't know if it's gonna take my account. Try it here. Okay, as you can see, I've got a couple that I have done just for my post-secondary. I have a different account for each different level. So I just wanted to show you the different levels of what I have. So we can kind of jump into one of these just so you can kind of see. So it's active. I can freeze it and I can make it hidden for when people are done. So if I go in here, the main purpose that I did for my summer class so that they can kind of start off and see what they wanted to do with Flipgrid is I had them actually create a video so that they just introduce themselves to the class. So what's nice is I had a join code in this particular case, just because I had students coming and going in some of my workshops this summer. So what I did is I did the code based. You can assign a username and password per student if you want to, and then they can go in and any Flipgrid videos that you would assign would go directly to their account. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. The nice part is I can set this so that they can either give me a 30-second video all the way up to, I believe it's 10 minutes for the free account. Of course, there's some pricing for some advanced type stuff, but right now that's really not available for the education. Education is kind of wide open, allowing us to do what we need to do. So the nice thing is I did use this in one of my business classes. So elevator speeches were something that we were talking about. And so I did set it so that they could only make a 30-second video. And then in the other class, I did a 60-second video just to kind of show them a little bit of difference of what can you say in 30 seconds and what can you say in 60 seconds. Right? So Flipgrid is pretty cool. I have known some of the other states have used Flipgrid to do presentations, especially for competitions. I guess they've been using some Flipgrid, and then the judge would go in and judge their stuff, which is pretty cool. So they have been able to set those up to, I believe it is 25 to 30 minutes. Again, with your first initial account, you're probably not going to use that much time anyway. Okay. So we're going to jump along to the next one, which is called YoTeach. This is something that's really cool no matter what environment you're teaching in. And what this is it provides kind of like that back channel to happen, that discussion while you're having a discussion, while there's a presentation, whatever may be happening in your classroom. This is a way for your students to engage in real time. So I'm just going to make a quick room. Oh, that room's already been taken. Let's see, let's try. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to avoid it in a search so that nobody else can use this. I can enable some of the admin features if I want to and set a password. I'm actually not going to at this point. And then all I have to do is hit make room. Okay, so it's loading. Takes just a little bit. Hopefully my internet's not going to hiccup here. Okay, so I'm going to put in, oops, my name here. I have to agree to the terms and I can hit continue. Okay, so I've got this room going and I can write my message, take a picture or draw something, and it'll go right in. Now, if you noticed on that first part before I hit load, there was a link. That's all you need to do to share this with your students, and they can interact. The nice part is this room can be open for one session, 2 class sessions. Maybe I want it open for a little bit of a time frame for students to really engage. So we've seen this used in a couple different ways. Number one, of course, with the discussions, but I've actually seen some of the people at the ISTE conference were using this for scavenger hunts. Some people were doing it for like a web-based scavenger hunt. They'd have to find something and the student would have to take a selfie and then load it. They were doing it for virtual and for physical scavenger hunts. So I thought that was kind of cool that they kind of thought outside of the box for this channel. So that's really all I'm going to say about YoTeach. So we're going to move right along here to Padlet. So I know some of you have probably heard Padlet and you've used Padlet, but here's the downfall. Padlet's free version only allows us to have so many pads at this point. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay for it. So what I do now is I'll create my Padlet. If I'm done using it, I'll delete it out to create my new Padlet. So what can Padlets be used for? Well, they can be used for a number of ways. So let's just take one that I made just a couple days ago for a workshop. So as part of my workshop, I was virtual in real time. And so I was asking my participants at this point, really, what can we do between using Bloom's taxonomy and Maslow's hierarchy of needs? And we were talking about the interconnections with those. And so I asked students this phrase right here: we must Maslow before we can Bloom. And then they gave me some responses. Okay, so I actually had two things going on at once when I did this. I had the Padlet going, I had the YoTeach going, and I actually also had the whiteboard feature under the Teams account, so that students could engage in one of those different ways. There was like 30-some students there that day, and it was kind of interesting to watch other teachers to see which ones that they would go to. And I would say Padlet and the YoTeach ones were about even, and some people did use the Microsoft Teams whiteboard, even though it was a little bit more tricky to get to for some of them that really didn't have that experience yet. So you can change the Padlet to anything. You're going to add a title. You can change this background to anything. I just had it as a chalkboard just because we did this as a Chalk Talk activity, just a virtual Chalk Talk activity. If you don't know what Chalk Talk activity is, you can go ahead and Google that. That's a whole different session in itself on activities, right? So let's move on, because I know I only have a few minutes remaining for each of these. The next one is Kahoot. I know a lot of you know Kahoot and probably have used Kahoot. So I'm just going to give you the updates here. One awesome update with Kahoot, it is now, and I think it's on here on this screen here. Maybe it isn't. I thought there is somewhere in here where it shows how it can be integrated now right within Google's Classroom or Microsoft Teams. So I do use it in my classes that we use Microsoft Teams on campus, and right now I still have synchronous options. So most of my students interact with me virtually. And so it was kind of nice that I could assign a Kahoot and it integrated right into my team, so my students didn't have to do clicking or type in passwords or do those kind of things. And they were able to participate with the Kahoot on their own time. That's the biggest upgrade from Kahoot that came this last fall, is that it no longer has to be a live thing that everybody has to do together. You can now set it up as a challenge, and your students get to do it on their own time. So we're seeing more and more people using this as a way for them to have their content in the classroom and then have students engage with that content outside of the classroom, and it's not just by paper and pen. So that's it about Kahoot. That was my just little update. The next one that I have here is Parlay. So Parlay is just a nice, cool feature to create an interactive presentation for students to join in on. Okay, so a little bit about Parlay is that you do set up your own. So as your free account, you can have, I think, up to like 15 roundtables going on at any given time. You can have online roundtables, or you can set this live to happen right in your classroom. Either way, it's really awesome. So I just want to show you how easy it is to create. So you can either do live or online. I'm going to just choose online. A lot of things are created for us on this universe site, or you can create your own. Okay, so sometimes I just don't have the time to create my own things. So I'm going to show you the universe real quick. And over here, there is business and economics. So if I click on it, there's two kind of like broad topic areas. And so let's see, I'm going to pick economics. And then all of these have been created by somebody else, and you can kind of check them out, see if it's something that you would like to use in your classroom. So maybe I'm just introducing economics in like an intro class. Let's see. I can use this. I can see what information, media clips, videos, anything that has been already put in here by somebody else. There's discussion questions. Best part is if I want to use it for my class, all I have to do is say use this topic. It'll open up, and then I can assign it to a specific course. And here I am. So I can still edit in this just by clicking the little edit button. Let's say I don't want to edit because we have a time, and then I can just invite my students. Personally, for kids to have less things to collect, I share the actual magic link, they call it. And then boom, my students are into some content that's really easy. Again, you can create your own. These are really easy. It's really easy to drag and drop things in or upload things in. It integrates really easy with YouTube, so that's Parlay really fast. Okay, the next one I want to just kind of talk about really quick is called PlayMeo. So PlayMeo is really fun and interactive group games. So you can kind of, if you wanted to watch the quick video, you can. It's really quick, easy, and free. There's up to 250 plus video activities already created here for you. And you can actually just search through the different things to kind of pick and choose what kind of activities. There's a ton of things for icebreakers, small group activities. So if you're kind of sick of doing the same old, like I use Parent Share a lot. So I was like, I kind of want to change things up a little bit. I searched PlayMeo, and PlayMeo gave me some information about a game that I could use instead. And boom, I was using that. I also use this website to look up some activities for workshops. I've done some activities out of here for my DECA chapter, and I've also done some activities here for adult learners, administrators, teachers, when everybody was put together. The nice thing is you can choose from anywhere from 3 people into a group up to 10 people in a group. And when you do your search and you search those parameters, it kind of takes the broad group of fun activity, interactive things, and hones it down to saying, hey, these are the things that you should choose with those kind of parameters. So pretty easy, like I said, to search for. So I just wanted to show and make sure people knew about PlayMeo. Last thing I want to show you as far as an app is Canva for teachers. If you haven't used Canva before, Canva for Education opens things to a broad new thing, and it's free. Here's my design interface, so you can kind of see. You can design anything as far as social media thing. Maybe I want to design something to go on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be. Or I want to create a video. You literally can design anything in Canva now. Even though I'm still partial to designing my own things in InDesign, when I don't have that real time, I can jump here to my Canva and really design things. This is great for your students as well, because your students can design anything under Canva, and it's really good professional looking pieces, especially for presentations. Okay, so that was Canva in a nutshell. Last thing that I really need to show you is Wakelet. Wakelet is another one of those things that kind of creates that interactive type activities, kind of hones everything into one. So I just wanted to show you an example. sorry about that. I just want to show you an example of a Wakelet. This is Danielle Olson. Definitely search her out on social media and stuff. Danielle Olson created this one on OneNote, and you can kind of see how she integrated some videos in here, has some stuff with her, can post pretty much anything, create stuff for your classes, and boom, you've got things in one location for students to go to and interact with. Okay, last two things I want to talk to you real quick here. Simple K-12, if you are a Google user and you kind of want to jump into a little bit more on Google products, the Simple K-12 has free webinars and trainings for schools. Definitely check them out. If you are a Teams user and you kind of want to work more with some of the different things that you can integrate into Teams, definitely come to the Microsoft Education Center. Definitely a place for you to get your professional development in. So again, that was a lot in a very little time. So I hope you were able to snag something that perked your interest at least. If you have any questions about any technology or anything you'd like to use in your classroom, you can feel free to reach out to me, Amber Aberly at VCSU. So you can search me on the website, or it's amber.aberle@vcsu.edu, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. So thank you again for joining me with this virtual presentation. Have a great day.